on a Saturday night in Oakland. The place to be is the local cathedral, the Oakland Coliseum, as the Roots host New Mexico United. As we are happy to have you with us here on ESPN+. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. New Mexico coming into this one in first. Oakland looking to slay the beast. If they're going to do it, Peter Wilson is going to have to be involved.
Peter Wilson's starting to get into his form, and he does all of his work in around that 18-yard box. He's really good at playing off the blind side, but he's also very good at creating his own luck. He has an opportunistic mentality that he wants to score goals. He's going to start as high as he possibly can for the Oakland Roots because they need him operating in around that 18-yard box. Peter Wilson, a player that needs to ask a lot of questions of New Mexico.
Coming off of a 4-2 defeat, the Roots against North Carolina last time out. Wilson, one of the bright spots. The other was Jürgen Damm finally getting on the score sheet as well for the Roots. Warm-ups are brought to you by UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. The more he gets into the attack, the better for Oakland.
Jürgen Damm is going to give you work rate on the right side of the field, off and on the ball. When he gets to that final third, he has quality. Again, he can put a really good ball in to the 18-yard box. His experience here against a very good, talented New Mexico team is the reason why the Oakland Roots need to lean on him.
In the aftermath of what was a 3-0 on the wrong side for New Mexico against El Paso, they rebounded with a 3-0 on the right side against Orange County.
Dennis Sanchez was very pleased with this New Mexico side, how they adapted in real time against a very talented Orange County side. They were better defensively. They got numbers in around that 18-yard box, and in the end, they got a very good, convincing 3-0 win on the road. This team is going to be full of confidence.
Talon Maples, a big feature of this game, the center back who almost doubled as a striker. He had 2 penalties. He converted 2 penalties. On a night where Peter Wilson is going to be the focal point up top for the Roots, we're not talking about Talon Maples' ability in the box from the penalty spot. It's what he does defensively that's going to be key tonight.
His leadership, the ability to organize the players in front of him, but also having the ability to pass off Peter Wilson to Kalen Wright and Talon Maples. He is a really important piece for the New Mexico side off the ball, but on the ball, he can kickstart their attacking phase with his quality to break lines.
Now, these two teams split the season series last year, both teams winning at home. Something about these Oakland Roots against first-place teams under Gavin Glinton. They played 5 games. They've won all 5. It's the Oakland Roots and New Mexico United next on ESPN+.
Eating a balanced diet and being physically active are 2 of the most important things you can do to be healthy at any age. Fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins can help control your weight and prevent heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Regular exercise can help boost your mood, digestion, and sleep. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots encourage you to eat right and get active. For additional healthy tips, come visit us at oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. You might not be related, but you're still family. You don't just give an extra hand. You give your whole heart and a whole lot of muscle. Because it feels good to raise up the community that raised you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
It turns out Oakland sports fans won't have to wait long to catch another game at the Oakland Coliseum.
O city by the bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O city by the bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
Tonight's match is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Let's take a look at tonight's lineups brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross.
3 in the back, and you have the width from Njayan Damm. Expect them to be very expansive and provide width, so allow Tyler Gibson and Viro Honga to get on the ball and really dictate tempo. And doing that, Sinisterra's going to pop into the hole, and you want Peter Wilson and Wolfgang Prentice to be as high as they can to occupy the center backs for the Oakland Roots. Changing the point of attack will be crucial for Gavin Glinton.
And on the other side for Dennis Sanchez, here's a group that is currently atop the Western Conference.
This side is all about the fluidity, and it starts within that middle three. Zico, Bailey, Jabang, and Zelalem, understanding the spaces that they want to operate in between lines. If they can get on the ball, expect the Monk to really be vertical. Alcala would come underneath, and Luis Fernando 1v1. That front three, very talented and very explosive for New Mexico.
We're ready to get things going here in Oakland. It's the Roots in their black from left to right. New Mexico in their yellow from right to left. Trevor Wiseman is the referee in charge. These two teams meeting for the first time this season. First place, New Mexico coming into the day. 10th place, Oakland coming into the day. Expectation for over 7,000 on hand today at the Coliseum, and we're underway. Glad to have you with us on ESPN Plus. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Oakland on the prowl early. This is a team that is not afraid to get after the opposition, but it's just a matter of what shape, what personnel, and how they attack it on a given day. Dennis Sanchez in our conversation said he's noticed that this is an Oakland team that doesn't really play to a true style. They're more likely to morph to an opponent. So on a night like this, Dennis Sanchez is just hoping his group for New Mexico can just be themselves and react to whatever it is Oakland throws at them, because it could change game to game.
The key for this New Mexico side is staying true to their identity. They want to possess the ball. They want to be methodical in the way that they build out. And it starts with Zelalem, Zico, Bailey, and Jabang in that central location, playing in between the lines. So for the Oakland Roots, your defensive compactness crucial to trying to negate the ball playing New Mexico side.
Jürgen Damm looking for Jose Sinisterra. He's really helped out the Roots ever since he's migrated into this number 10 role. He's helped unlock things in the attack. Jürgen Damm. Done by Peter Wilson. Awkward ball back for Tambakis. Has to take it off of his chest and just volleying it to safety. He's touched though by Gloucester. That was Zelalem and Jabang. Really good midfield trio for New Mexico between Bailey, Zelalem, and Jabang. The way they go through Akale. Overlap, Lindsay, centering, cleared.
It's a perfect example of what New Mexico is all about. This ball actually starts from Tambakis, and you play in between Gloucester, Jabang, and Zico Bailey. Dennis Sanchez wants his outside backs, especially Lindsay, to push high and get themselves to the final third.
Okwele Akale puts it down for the corner. 2 assists this season. In charge of most of their set pieces. Instantly became a fan favorite last year in New Mexico, especially with his goal to down rival Phoenix in the playoffs. Akale curls a dangerous ball in, the header loose in front, and it trickles over the line. 3 players for New Mexico unmarked, and Chris Gloucester claims the goal.
Perfect start for Dennis Sanchez and New Mexico on the road within the first 3 minutes here. You start creating an opportunity through the run of play. You win a dangerous set piece, and this is as simple as it will get for Dennis Sanchez and his staff. A ball lofted to the back post in acres of space for every single player of New Mexico. Needs to be better for the Oakland Roots. Chris Gloucester gets on the end of it. You put it on target, you give yourself a chance, it pinballs around, and just like that, New Mexico United take the lead early here in the Coliseum.
2 unmarked at the back post, 1 open in the middle of the 6. Just seemed like a complete breakdown from the Roots as far as passing players off, and in the aftermath you had players looking at each other and spatting some words at each other in the box for Oakland. Something to keep an eye on. Just a major miscommunication in the early going cost them mightily.
If you're Gavin Glinton, you're going to be extremely disappointed and frustrated how you concede this opening goal, because you do not concede through the run of play. It's a silly mistake. Watch out here.
Play the other way for Wilson, saved by Tambakis. End to end to kick things off here in Oakland. 4 minutes in, a goal on one end and now a corner at the other end. Corners are brought to you by Ava Community Energy.
This is when Peter Wilson is at his best, playing off the shoulder of one of the two center backs. So opportunistic in the end. Good save from Tembakis to come off of his line.
Sinisterra clips it in. Loose shout for a handball. Referee was all over it. Njai. Wukar Njai goes all the way back. Tyler Gibson floating it long. Number still committed forward after the corner for the Roots, but Gloucester has no issues. Luis Fernando with some of the Brazilian flair, chuckling it to himself in the defensive third to help foster a clearance. And all the way back for Rafael Spiegel. Take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by UCSF Health. Just a couple on each side at this point. Missing in goal tonight for the Roots, Kendall McIntosh left last game early. Precaution this week. Bounces through awkwardly. Chance again here for New Mexico, and just like that, it's two. Zico Bailey punishes Oakland for another mistake. And the first place team in the Western Conference is running wild on the Roots.
Just can't get any better for New Mexico at this moment in time. Dennis Sanchez pressing all the right buttons, but it starts with this clever little swim move here from Macaulay. Notice how he acts like he's going to body Njai, send him to the ground, and then he has a composure to pick up his head, come centrally. It is a fortunate bounce for Zico Bailey, but he makes no mistake about this finish. As a number 10, how can you get yourself high up the field? You'll get rewarded. Head down, lace it through this ball to that far post. No chance for Spiegel. And just like that, New Mexico double their lead.
And no marking on the initial corner. A mistake uncharacteristically there from Neville Hackshaw as he tried to clear it. Zico Bailey pounces. It's his first of the season. The goal earlier from Chris Gloucester was his first of the season. And inside of 7 minutes, New Mexico up 2-0 on the road.
Just a sense of balance for New Mexico in the way that they approach the game through their attacking phase, especially on wide parts of the field. Macaulay, left footer, playing the right-hand side, so he always wants to come centrally and take that number 10 role, and that allows Zico Bailey to be vertical. On the other side, Luis Fernando, he's going to stay as wide as he possibly can to go 1v1 at his individual marker.
Here's Talon Maples. I was just getting ready to ask you, Ricky, at 1-0 this early, if anything changes for either team or if you continue on with the initial game plans. Well, that went out the window because just as I was set to ask it, they scored again at 2-0. If you're Oakland, do you stray from the game plan or do you have to just stick to it because it's still so early?
I think you have to overextend yourself just a tiny bit to try to get one before halftime. That's going to be a point of emphasis for Gavin Glinton, but in doing that, you have to have the right balance, right? You cannot leave yourself overexposed to make this turn into a 3 or 4 goal game in a blink of an eye.
That was one of the issues for the Roots last year. There were certain games where it did just avalanche away from them, and 2 quickly became 5. It popped up in a game against Sacramento and Pittsburgh and some others. Slotted through here. Chance to get one back and saved by Tembakis. Oh, what a ball put through by Njai. Wolfgang Prentice unable to finish it off. In the form he's in, he's the one you wanted on the ball there. 4 goals this season.
From her center back position, Hackshaw gives you the ability to break lines. This ball is just slotted right through a window. And now if you are Wolfgang Prentice, you need to pick out a corner. With the composure and the success that you've had this season, expect him to find the back of the net.
Long throw flicked on by Green. Wilson leaning. It bounces. Sinisterra took a deflection. And it's out for a corner. Another corner powered for the Oakland Roots by Ava Community Energy, their second of the match.
that last chance for Prentice. If he can take a third touch to get himself closer, the whole goal will start to open up. I think he takes it a little bit too early, which allows Tambakis to make himself big when coming off of his line.
They go short again. Sinisterra with Prentice. Sinisterra drives it over everything. Wasted by Oakland. Green tries to rescue it. Gibson floating long. Sinisterra just missed it. Offside fly did come up in the end. But not until after. Sinisterra just completely misplayed it.
Just mistimes it. But if you are Gavin Glinton, the positive you can take is the opportunities are there. We've seen the last two actions for the Roots have found success getting in behind that back line of New Mexico.
Roots family, the 2025 Oakland Roots jerseys are here celebrating the return of the Coliseum and the legacy of Oakland sports. Fresh looks, same Oakland spirit. Don't wait, get yours today. Shop now at shop.oaklandrootssc.com. Minutes in, both sides, two shots on target, two good looks. New Mexico finished off both, Oakland didn't. Tambakis out of the goal here. Sinisterra finds Jurgen Dahm. Wilson in the middle. Dahm end line. Overpowers it. They're getting into the promising areas. It's just not clicking once they get there. And that has been a larger issue over the course of the year for the Roots. Awkward touch by New Mexico, now on. Yarahanga, now Sinisterra. You get the idea. Execution not there. Gibson.
It's been a good response from the Roots, going down 2-0 here at home. Last 5 minutes or so, they've been on the front foot, and it's all due to their press, trying to recover the ball as quickly as they possibly can in a more aggressive positioning. And for Dennis Sanchez, now the challenge is for your two center backs. So you have to be able to bypass the initial line of pressure.
Dennis Sanchez at this point this season, really happy overall with what he's seen from the group, but knows they're building. And the phase that really sticks out of this season for New Mexico was a 4-game winning streak they had where every score was 1-0. That's the mark of a good team if you could win those tight games. They already have 2 goals on their ledger tonight and looking for a third already. So early on, just finding success in the attacking third. Another corner. That's how they scored just 3 minutes in. Kale will take it. And the assist on the opening goal for Chris Gloucester. Kale curls it in. Jurgen Dahm had it covered at the near post. Really tight-knit group in New Mexico as well. I think that's what stuck out most from our chat with Dennis Sanchez. After he took the job coming over from Vegas, first thing he did was just have every player in individual meeting for a cup of coffee, half hour to an hour, and just learn so much about the group. Not soccer stuff, life stuff as well. Of course, respectfully so, wouldn't name the player, but said there was a player who opened up about struggles with alcoholism as well, and just little things like that they got to the bottom of and became closer as a group because of it, as people, not just as teammates and a coach-player relationship. And it's coming across on the field so far this season. Space for Prentice here. Tracked down by Jabang and won by Jabang.
Fantastic recovery here from Jabang. But if you're Peter Wilson, you need to continue your run as wide as you possibly can. As you have a secondary action, you come back century. That just condenses the space and allows Jabang to drop down and just pick the pocket of Wolfgang Prentice. Those little things as a number 9 make a massive difference in your success going forward for your team.
Here's Zalalem. First season signed in USL Championship, Gideon Zelalem. It's been a fixture so far in the midfield for New Mexico. Pulling the strings, clipping over the top, headed away by Neville Hackshaw. Behind the play, Peter Wilson goes down. Yellow card shown as well. Late challenge behind the ball. It was Zelalem who picks up the yellow there for New Mexico. Njai.
Again, the repress for the Roots, forcing turnovers for New Mexico. Biarahonga and Tyler Gibson doing a good job at staying aggressive.
Now an opportunity on a set piece for the Roots. Quarter of an hour in, already down 2. Njai, strong service, ends up drifting far too close to goal, and no trouble for Tambakis.
I think Njai's caught between two minds. Maybe Tambakis is off of his line, thinks he can sneak it into that near post. Just the amount of pace on that ball. You need to take some of it off of it if you want one of your teammates to try to get on the end of your service.
At the end of that one between Usman Jabang and Abosi Biarahonga. Talon Maples springs the long ball over the top. Great ball into the path of Akale. Net's empty. Akale carving it up for Fernando. What a ball from Talon Maples. Better touch from Akale, and we might be talking about a 3-0 ball game. Awkward read from Spiegel as well, coming off his line. Again to Akale. Flag stays down. Again, an awkward touch from Akale that wastes the moment.
Just impeccable timing here from Mokwele Akale to time his run and to beat the line of the Oakland Roots on full speed. Great ball in from Talon Maples, showing off his passing range. Spiegel's caught off in no man's land if he...
Free kick goes New Mexico's way. The USL on CBS Sports Network wraps up the month of May with a Western Conference doubleheader this Wednesday, May 28th. San Antonio FC takes on FC Tulsa at 8 Eastern, followed by Las Vegas Lights and Phoenix Rising at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network on May 28th. Curious to see how Las Vegas fares tonight. They have been struggling mightily to get anything going offensively. They're hosting El Paso, kicking off in about 10 minutes time. They had a nice stretch of wins there, Las Vegas, in different competitions. 2 in the Jägermeister Cup and 1 in league play against Loudoun, but really struggling overall. Coming off a drubbing 5-0 at the hands of Sacramento. Keeping tabs on your X's for Dennis Sanchez.
Tony Torino having a very difficult time getting that side to click in the attacking third, like you said. A team that has a lot of talent. Dennis Sanchez did a fantastic job with them in 2024.
such a different task this year for Dennis Sanchez. He came in, basically had 3 weeks to put together a roster in Vegas last year, and with a blank slate, he went out. He got a lot of guys who he coached in MLS Next Pro in a previous job. And then this year comes into basically a ready-made team in New Mexico that just needed some touching up around the edges. Team that made a nice playoff run last year. Had a good core. Eric Quill, head coach last year, now on to FC Dallas. Dennis Sanchez steps into a good situation, and he's kept it that way. Sometimes we see coaches step into good situations, but the success doesn't stay. It's actually improved here in New Mexico under Dennis Sanchez from what they were in the standings last year under Eric Quill to what it is now. Sign of a good coach. In your opinion, you and I were chatting off the air. He's number one for you in your mind.
I think Dennis Sanchez has a true identity in how he sees the game in terms of his X and O's and ways that he can break through opponents and their back line. Not easy to come into. Should play advantage if you're Trevor Wiseman.
And they're continuing on themselves in Mexico, expecting that, but not the call.
But that is a microcosm of what we've seen in the first 21 minutes for New Mexico. Zico Bailey first beating Kai Green, then beating Jurgen Dahm in two 50-50 duels. Just seemed to want it a little bit more, this New Mexico side. And yet again, Macaulay first to that dead ball.
Player down now for Oakland, and the referee will stop play. Injury timeout brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. Abukar Njai, the player down at the moment. Fans into a stunned silence in the early going. 2 goals in 6 minutes for New Mexico.
Tough challenge between Njai and Jabeng. 2 players, eyes on the ball the whole way. No ill will whatsoever.
Kevin Glinton giving some instructions. Estera in the mix there with Peter Wilson. See this defined line of 5 right now defensively for Oakland. Njai just tried to clear it off of Akale, but he ended up with the ball. Akale going for a goal. Spiegel parries it away. Not sure what Njai had in mind there.
Just too aggressive. Njai just try to win the ball, go back the other way. Akale is causing all sorts of issues as he comes centrally. He just requires so much attention. Time after time, making the right decision in the final third.
Zico Bailey. Back to Luis Fernando. Nice couple of years he had in Memphis before joining New Mexico this year. It's been interesting to see where some of the spare parts from Memphis from last year ended up this year. And a lot of them have ended up in very good situations and now helping new teams. Almost similar to a couple of years ago. RGV and the last team they put together. From distance, Jabeng scores! Oh, what a brilliant strike off the volley. And they rule it out for a handball on Jabeng. There was some confusion among the players. The referee pointing toward midfield, which is also the signal in the handbook for is indicating a goal. He was pointing for a free kick and spotted the handball against New Mexico.
Watch the right arm here of Jabeng. Away from his body. Clear handball. Good spot from Trevor Wiseman. You talk about the technical ability as well. Just hits it so pure and so clean. Jabeng would have been a great goal from the center midfielder.
There's long been an idea floating around the social media sphere among soccer fans. You give every team 1 free pass a year on a goal that should not count like this one, but you let it stand because it looks cool. You could use it anytime during the season. You only get 1 free pass. I think New Mexico might have used it there.
100%. That technical ability there. Hit that so pure. Makes it look a lot easier than what it is there, Jabang.
25 minutes come and gone. Statistically, it's even in some regards. Two shots on target each, but 70-30 possession. New Mexico just controlling the ball, controlling the territories, controlling every aspect of this game. And that's after scoring 2 goals in 6 minutes to get things going.
That's it to be expected into this match. Gavin Glinton, very uncharacteristic like from the Oakland Roots.
It's been sloppy in the defensive end.
Just trying to overcomplicate things, not winning their individual duels, breaking down mentally. It's going to be a point of emphasis for Gavin Glinton once he gets the team into halftime. This Oakland Roots side also needs more out of Tyler Gibson and Biarahonga, two players that are just operating in the same sort of space. You want one to be a little bit higher, like Biarahonga is now. Tyler Gibson to stay more at home. There's just no pocket presence for the Oakland Roots.
And it's interesting, Sinisterra has typically occupied that. Now over the top to Wilson, takes it off the chest, flag comes up. It had typically been Sinisterra, and it's been something that's been working for the Roots, but at times tonight, it's almost as if Sinisterra is joining the top line, making it a line of 3 up there with Prentice and Wilson. So to your point, it's just leaving this void in the middle and nobody's stepping into it.
And it plays right into the hands of what Dennis Sanchez wants. This New Mexico side, their engine is that trio between Bailey, Zelalem, and Jabang. If there's no presence for the Oakland Roots, that team is just going to run this game.
And it feels numerically for the Roots. If you get Biarahonga up with Sinisterra playing with 2 10s against 1-6, you're going to create those moments where you have the numerical advantage, and they're just not taking advantage of it. They're putting nobody in there against the 1-6 of New Mexico. Akale.
Near side of your screen right now, just numerical overload. Fantastic work from New Mexico here.
Gloucester scored the opening goal. That was not intended for Jabang, but well done settling that off the chest. And all the way back to Tambakis. Join us in style this year with Roots Premium Seating. From our all-inclusive Club Oak to field boxes or dugout seats. We have great options for any occasion. Secure your tickets now. Visit us at oaklandrootssc.com/tickets or call 510-488-1144. Headed right into the path of Luis Fernando. Fernando goes for goal. It's Hackshaw again. He had that moment on the second goal where he mishit it and it fell into the path of Zico Bailey. Again here, just misjudges it, catches it wrong, and Luis Fernando could have made it 3.
It's been shaky for the Oakland Roots within their defensive structure and unable to clear their lines. The ball over the top into a dangerous area have caused them all sorts of issues. Luis Fernando is going to want this one back as it falls kindly on his preferred left foot.
You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network, for a Western Conference doubleheader on May 28th. San Antonio, Tulsa, Vegas, Phoenix. You can go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Back for Tambakis, had a couple of moments to deal with early on, but since then, New Mexico has completely avoided any threats from the Roots. Oakland had an opportunity, down 1-0 to make it 1-1. Down 2-0 to cut into it. Squandered both of those. One of them a big save by Tambakis, denying Wolfgang Prentice. We could be talking about a very different game right now. Peter Wilson goes down. Well shielded at the end line by Jalen Lindsay. Slow to get up still. Down there is Njai holding his head. There's been moments this year for this Oakland side, and the win at home against Orange County is the game that comes to mind where they look like one of the top teams in the Western Conference, but there's been other days where they've just lacked that punch. They've done well to grind out results, even though it always hasn't been pretty. You recall the Tulsa game, the win they had against San Antonio a couple of matches back, where Peter Wilson really created his own luck by that hard work up top, scoring the goal after taking it off the goalkeeper. But it just hasn't been consistent, the level from Oakland to this point of the season. Half an hour gone, down 2-0. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN Plus with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Goals came 6 minutes in for New Mexico, both of them. The first one, Chris Gloucester, 3 minutes in, then Zico Bailey 6 minutes in. But a terrific start, and it's been cruise control since. Yarahanga switching, and Njai has a lot of space here. Could do some damage. Wilson streaking in. Played that way. Wilson saved by Tambakis. Terrific stop. And he needs a moment to recover. He could bask in the glory of that save as well.
You draw this New Mexico side to one side of the field, you change your point of attack, and this is a fantastic idea here from Njai. First touch out of his body and just bends it around this back line of New Mexico into the path of Peter Wilson. And as this ball's coming back, Peter Wilson just needs to open up his hips and just simply redirect it into this far post. Let it hit your foot, and you'll find the back of the net. He just tries to do too much and generate too much power. Straight at Tambakis, flawless positioning from the goalkeeper.
3 goals, 3 assists this season. Peter Wilson could have and probably should have had a 4th.
That ball from Njai is just a nightmare to deal with. If you're one of the 2 center backs, you're facing your own goal, you do not know what's behind you. Great ball from Njai.
Jürgen Damm. Zico Bailey. It's been a fixture here for New Mexico since 2023. Zico Bailey scored the 2nd of the 2 this evening for New Mexico.
Just unable to get in a rhythm. This Oakland Root side. Great ball from Zico Bailey.
Jabang. Back to Maples. Talon Maples scored the 2 penalties last game in that win. Ashton Sanchez, how they stumbled into a center back being their penalty taker. He said he did well last year, the couple moments he had for New Mexico, and he was aware of that and wanted to keep that going. But also this year with the Jägermeister Cup, they spent more time in training working penalties, and he just stands out above the rest. So that is why a center back is taking penalties. 2 last game, converted both.
We saw him have the ability to spring Kali in moments ago, but right now it's just far too easy for New Mexico to bypass every single player for the Oakland Roots. If they're going to press high the Roots, they have to do it in unison. Too many times you're starting to see, whether it is Peter Wilson, Wolfgang Prentice, Sinistero go, and there's just a massive gap centrally. Too much ground for Tyler Gibson and Yarahanga to cover, which allows New Mexico just to play through in between the lines.
2-0, it's still within reach. 3-0, different story. New Mexico's had a couple of moments where they could have made it 3. Now a set piece in a promising position. Zico Bailey, the right-footed option. Makwele Akale, the left-footed option. It's from a similar position, actually, last year when these teams met in New Mexico. And a free kick was scored by Akale. Surprising Paul Blanchette near post. This with a service back post and punched away. By Spiegel has this one tracked. First start of the season for Spiegel. Came in at halftime last game in relief. McIntosh has started their cup matches, Open Cup and Jägermeister Cup. 32-year-old from Switzerland, very experienced goalkeeper. Jabang. He was cut off by Njai. Another moment where it seemed New Mexico on an advantage. Trevor Wiseman, though, stops to have a conversation with Njai. A final warning.
It's been about the fourth time that Njai has come into a challenge a bit chaotic and very aggressive from the wing back. You have to maybe start to think that frustration starting to set in.
Hackshaw just seems off tonight. Even that last touch very heavy, and it invited the pressure from Tomas Amang. There was the one moment he had that led directly to the second goal. Another moment he had that could have led to a Fernando goal that would have made it 3-0. Here's Prentice now, fresh off a new contract extension this week.
Again, far too easy for Akale just to bypass Njai here. Good positioning from Biarahunga.
And again, it's New Mexico winning the second ball. Both coaches talked a lot this week, just stylistically how these teams match up, about the importance of the second balls. It feels like most of those are going New Mexico's way. That one falls for Prentice. Came off a defender, so he's onside. Prentice puts it behind Wilson. Jürgen Dahm will keep it alive. Dahm cuts to his right. Take a deflection. It did. Corner.
It's the second time that we've seen Jürgen Dahm elect to go for the chop back to his preferred right foot. He's going to give you quality and work rate from his positioning. But as the ball goes to the weak side, you need him crashing towards that far post. That's a responsibility from a weak-sided wing back under Gavin Glinton.
Ava Community Energy corner kick. Sinistera curls it in. Loose there for Njai. Seemed like it caught him by surprise. Never had a chance to take a stab at it. Now maybe off to the races here in New Mexico. Akale leading the break with Bailey. Oh, just ran over his foot. Luis Fernando was in the clear. Some updates elsewhere. 1-0 lead for Lou City on the road against Monterey Bay, 37 minutes in. And Las Vegas has a goal, 7 minutes in, up 1-0 at home on El Paso. Johnny Rodriguez, name familiar to the Roots fans tuning in. He has the lone tally so far in that one. All the way back to Spiegel. Just feels like nothing is coming easy for the Roots, and on cue, giving away, playing about the back.
So many times when Tyler Gibson gets on the ball, he just plays negative into his back line. As a center midfielder, especially in a game like this against a New Mexico side, you have to have the personality and the character to get the ball in the half turn and break lines with your passes. Just far too predictable for the Oakland Roots, especially when they're building out of the back.
Fernando. Gloucester. Usman Jabang intercepted by Gibson. It'll be Oakland's throw. You mentioned early on that you expected them to maybe overextend a little bit here, Oakland. Down 2-0 to try and find one before halftime. They've had opportunities, a couple of them big saves by Tambakis, but it just feels like more of the same where they're struggling.
They found the most success when they play long, either into NJ or quickly change the point of attack to Jürgen Damm. But once again to that final third, just the wrong decision, taking too long, bypassing the first option that we have. Here, Gavin Clinton, it needs to start again with the relationship of Sinisterra, Tyler Gibson, and Biaro Hunga. That is going to be the key to success, because if they do get on the ball, now Jürgen Damm has the ability to be direct. Now Peter Wilson can come into play, because he's a striker that needs service in around that 18-yard box.
It's not for a lack of talent on the Oakland Roots side. The pieces are there. It's just a question of how the pieces are positioned and how they fit on a given day.
Good move.
Luis Fernando slips it in behind now. Turning the corner, brought down. Tried to play advantage, but falling down was Tomas Amang, and an easy yellow card issued to Neville Hackshaw.
Bit of a skill check first from Luis Fernando as he brings in Kai Green, allowing Tomas Amang to be very vertical, and this is when he is at his best. Just so rapid. Hackshaw knows he's beaten. Takes the body, none of the ball. Clear yellow card for the leader for the Oakland Roots. This could be a nightmare here for Spiegel, especially with Zico Bailey and Akale over the ball. As an in-swinger, you need to aim for that far post with the amount of traffic oncoming. Can find the back of the net.
Zico Bailey, dangerous ball. Had two guys there at the back post, headed away by the Roots. Try from distance. And that one ends up well out of play. It doesn't in any way feel like New Mexico is done at 2 in this game. The chances have been there. They've been dangerous. They're coming off of a 3-0. That was over Orange County. Here's that look again in the defensive shape for the Roots with the front line of 3. Sinisterra on this right side instead of in the 10 where he's been.
But again, so easily broken. And now Kai Green, your center back at the midfield line.
Luis Fernando comes all the way across to Akale, chested down. Akale waits, lays it off, and it's just wide. Out for a goal kick.
But again, just the shape of the Oakland Roots all over the place. As Kai Green, center of your screen, he's right next to Zico Bailey. What that does, now NJ needs to pinch centrally, and that allows a lot of space for Makwele Akale at that far post. And the only thing that Dennis Sanchez is going to want a little bit more of this first half is that ruthlessness. That needs to be in the back of the net. First with Akale, and then this ball back into Jaden Lindsay.
And give it away out of the back. Again, it's Hackshaw. He's having a nightmare of a first half.
Again, essentially, look at the amount of space that New Mexico has to play.
Given what Neville Hackshaw has meant to the Roots over the last couple of years, it almost feels wrong to ask this question. But if you're Gavin Clinton, do you have to sub him off at halftime? Has it been that type of half for Neville Hackshaw where you're considering his night being over at halftime?
I think for Neville Hackshaw, you need to push him into the middle of the field. Give him just to stay centrally, to be the ability to congest the passing lanes and clog passing lanes, muck up the game a little bit more, and in possession, just keep it simple, right? That's been a big talking point for you and I over the last couple of weeks for this Oakland Roots side. Essentially, every time they get the ball to either sideways or back, no one has the ability to break lines to play into their front line.
From the free kick, Bailey for a throw. Fernando. Maples. Worked around again to Akale, who's been dangerous tonight. On cue. Given away by Akale.
Prentice, top side of your screen. Just slow to recognize, and again, a negative ball from Peter Wilson.
Seemed like they had numbers to go, and it's back again. Now across to Njai. Two minutes of stoppage time here at the end of this first half. Stoppage time brought to you by KTVU+. In behind, Sinistera stumbles. Believe it or not, the Roots are almost doubling up New Mexico in expected goals so far in this game. Looking at some of the deeper statistics, but it has never at any moment in this game felt like that because of moments like this, given away sloppily again by Biarohanga. Akale. Mukwele Akale cuts it in on his preferred left foot, drops it back, floated in, barely was open. Cleared through the middle by Navel Hackshaw. Zalalem. Akale. Akale, nice move. Leaves Njai behind. Stop. Just ran out of room there. One skill check too many. And Njai dizzy.
Just tells you where the confidence level is right now for New Mexico having their way in that final third.
Back to Hackshaw again. Clearance efforted through the middle, given away. Two yellow jerseys there.
Just very uncharacteristic. Like for Hackshaw is usually a mainstay, consistent on and off the ball, true leader for the Oakland Roots.
That's why I phrased it the way I did before, where I said it almost feels wrong to ask this question, but he just doesn't look like himself. It almost looks like there is something wrong with him tonight, where it just doesn't seem 100%. And they salvaged something late here in this first half. Jurgen Dahm, a lot of contact in the middle. Peter Wilson went down. Dahm still with it. Recovered by New Mexico. 2 minutes of stoppage come and gone. And there is a whistle to end this first half. New Mexico strikes twice in the first 6 minutes, and it remains 2-0 the rest of the first half.
For the Oakland Roots, it has to go back to the basics. The effort needs to be higher, the intensity needs to be higher, and you need to be cleaner on the ball. And for Dennis Sanchez, if you can get that third goal early in that second half, you can put this game to bed.
Well, they came into the weekend in first place in the Western Conference for a reason. New Mexico United, Oakland, a couple of mistakes early on, gifting New Mexico a pair of goals. They lead 2-0 going into the break. Take a look around the USL Championship when we return at halftime. New Mexico 2, Oakland nothing.
Eating a balanced diet and being physically active are two of the most important things you can do to be healthy at any age. Fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins can help control your weight and prevent heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Regular exercise can help boost your mood, digestion, and sleep. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots encourage you to eat right and get active. For additional healthy tips, come visit us at oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. It doesn't just have great bones. It was the backbone of your community. So you breathe in new life, grinding away to make space for tomorrow, for your people. This isn't just a restoration. It's a revival. Because you're always willing to double down on your neighborhood. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
O city by the bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O city by the bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
G-Eazy, the halftime concert here at the Coliseum. This is what Ricky was waiting for all season long when the Roots schedule came out. That is your #1 rapper of all time, yeah?
Christmas came early. Fantastic stuff here from G-Eazy. Helium, go get it. Just dropped.
He is the Bay Area, and this crowd is enjoying it here at the half. They didn't really enjoy the first 45 minutes of this one, but it's being made up for here at the break by G-Eazy. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedules here for both these sides, beginning with the Oakland Roots. Doesn't get any easier, and I think that's the name of the game this year in the USL Championship, where there are no easy outs, and this is the road ahead.
Something that we haven't really seen in a very long time. Every game in the USL Championship is super competitive. Only one win at home for the Oakland Roots. So when you play against El Paso, when you play against Detroit City and Phoenix Rising, you need to start picking up points fast for Gavin Glinton, and those are really difficult places. Colorado Springs Switchbacks are the defending champs, and Birmingham Legion, like under Mark Briggs, completely different team.
I'm glad you mentioned under Mark Briggs. Besides just the fact that Birmingham's different, that's also the former coach of Sacramento, and he's very well familiar with the Oakland Roots from the NorCal Derby over the last couple of years. On the other side for New Mexico United, as they look to improve to 7-3 tonight and sit at the top of the Western Conference. Here's their road ahead. They alternate home and road. The one against Lexington is one where you figure you want to pick up some points. Team is at the bottom of the standings right now.
For Dennis Sanchez, really important stretch of games here as you welcome the Switchbacks, you welcome San Antonio and Charleston Battery on 7-12. That's going to be a fantastic match. One for the weekend for Dennis Sanchez and Ben Pierman. Like you said, maybe 1-2 best coaches in all of USL Championship.
Yeah.
Two teams that want to play, that want to be attacking minded. Fantastic game against the Battery.
And some potential personal revenge for Dennis Sanchez in that Colorado Springs matchup when he was the coach of Vegas last year. They lost in the conference final against the eventual champion Colorado Springs Switchbacks. So that is the road ahead for your first place New Mexico United. They have a 2-0 lead here at the break over the Oakland Roots. I don't know if Ricky's going to be with me for the next segment. He is ready to watch the rest of this G-Eazy concert. It's New Mexico 2, Oakland nothing.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it.
Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
The only way to win is to do it together. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots have teamed up. We are leading the charge to address food insecurity, empowering all athletes to improve physical health, and expanding the health and wellness resources available to the residents of Oakland and the Bay Area. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandroots.com/anthem to learn more.
Somehow managed to convince Ricky to stick with me through this G-Eazy concert so we could take a look at some news and notes around USL Championship. Pittsburgh Riverhounds claiming that prize as the furthest advancing second division side in the Open Cup. Was sad to see them go against Philadelphia, but they put up a decent fight.
Bob Lilly did a really good job at getting his side always ready to play against higher opposition. Pittsburgh Riverhound well deserved. And you just see 23 USL Championship and League One players have been named to the CONCACAF Gold Cup preliminary rosters, which starts very soon. You talk about national teams, Mexico, Japan, Coliseum. What an atmosphere that's going to be.
It's going to be incredible to see this place full for a match like that, and it's a testament to what Oakland has been able to do over the last year, getting people into this building. And as we take a look around USL Championship, out-of-town scores are brought to you by Visit Oakland. Get out on the town and visit Oakland to explore arts, culture, and world-class cuisine. Still 1-0 Louisville on the road on Monterey Bay at halftime. I think one of the big ones that stands out, though, Orange County 3-1 over the Switchbacks, who continue to struggle right below the playoff line.
Danny so needed that result, especially after losing 3-0 against New Mexico. What about the Charleston Battery going into Keyworth in that hostile environment, and it's not only scoring a couple of goals, but also really good defensive performance. Pittsburgh Riverhounds going to Rhode Island and Connell Smith, taking up 3 points for Bob Lilly.
That was impressive in its own way, coming off of the midweek Open Cup game on the road against a team like Rhode Island. It is that kind of year. There is so much parity, so much to parse through as we go into the summer. Ricky, time for you to go back out to the concert. When we return, we get to half number 2. It's New Mexico up 2-0 here in the Bay Area.
Dazzling goal for 20,000 to witness a jubilation.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. It doesn't just have great bones. It was the backbone of your community. So you breathe in new life, grinding away to make space for tomorrow, for your people. This isn't just a restoration. It's a revival. Because you're always willing to double down on your neighborhood. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
O city by the bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O city by the bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
It turns out Oakland sports fans won't have to wait long to catch another game at the Oakland Coliseum. It turns out Oakland sports fans won't have to wait long to catch another game at the Oakland Coliseum.
Tonight's match is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Roots down 2-0 at the break against New Mexico. G-Eazy reinvigorated this crowd at halftime after they were really in a position where the energy was just sapped out of them because of a couple of early goals by New Mexico, striking in the 3rd minute and the 6th minute. As we take a look back at highlights from half number 1. Ugly first half at times for Oakland, and New Mexico took advantage.
If you're Dennis Sanchez, you have to be very pleased. 3 minutes into this game, it's just a lofted ball to the back post, and somewhere along the line for the Oakland, someone loses not 1, not 2, but 3 of their marks. Just look at the numerical overload for the New Mexico side. You put the ball in a dangerous area, you get rewarded, and it trickles over the goal line. Not even a couple minutes later, it starts again. Macaulay Akali does a good job at just eluding Njahir, and notice how he's left-footed, so he always wants to come centrally. And bottom side of your screen, Zico Bailey finds a gift between Biarhanga and Hackshaw. A great finish. Head down, laces through this ball, and picks out that far corner.
And from there, it seemed like there could have been more for New Mexico ultimately in that first half, but it wasn't for a lack of response from Oakland. They had 3 shots on target of their own, and there were some big saves made by on the other side by Alex Tambakis.
Great ball in from Hackshaw to break 2 New Mexico players, but if you are Wolfgang Prentice, especially with the form that you've been in, you need to pick out a corner. That is straight down the middle, far too easily for Tambakis to make that save. And again, the Oakland started to find success when they would play direct or they would change the point of attack. Great ball from Njai behind that back line. And Peter Wilson, you need to do better here. Just simply open up your hips and guide it to that far post. Again, central location, easy save for Tambakis.
Shots on target are the same. Possession, though, and the shots going New Mexico's way. The eye test very much going New Mexico's way from that first half.
They've been the better side on and off the ball. They've been the one creating really good opportunities, but this game has came down to being ruthless in the box. They've taken their chances. They put 2 in the back of the net, which the Oakland Roots continue to struggle to generate really good opportunities.
Can they find a spark from somewhere, Oakland, here in this second half? Down 2-0. New Mexico looking to keep its position atop the Western Conference. As it stands in the live table, the gap would be 5, with New Mexico leading the way out west. Oakland right to left in the black, New Mexico left to right in the yellow. A change made at the break for the Roots. Panos Armanakis replaces Babukar Njai. That'll give them a new look in terms of the shape and who slots where. Underway now in half number 2. Glad to have you with us on ESPN Plus alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa.
As Armanakis comes in, he's going to play at that number 10 role, which is going to push Wolfgang Prentice to this wing back on this near side and allow Sinister to slot right next to Peter Wilson as 2 strikers for Gavin Glinton.
Prentice.
Just a profile of Panos is going to give a pocket presence.
Here he is, first look. Fed ahead. Goes for the Rabona, puts it in front. It didn't feel necessary, but it looked good and it almost worked. That's what he brings to the field, Armanakis.
A bit of flair, a bit of audacity and confidence going forward.
A little swagger for the Roots.
Pulled it off, though.
He did it. Impressive. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't necessary, but it looked cool and it worked. So you can't really say anything about it. Turned over here by New Mexico. Biarhanga flicked on to Wilson, blocked. Talon Maples got in the way of it. Now Armanakis floats it in the header, glancing wide. Jurgen Dahm keeps it in play. Good hustle from Dahm. There's a different vibe to Oakland in the first minute and change of the second half. Whatever said at halftime by Gavin Glinton, it seems early on like it's paying off.
Just relentless pressure right now for the Oakland Roots, and really uncharacteristic like for New Mexico, unable to deal with the pressure. So good response for the Roots here 2 minutes into this second half.
foul goes against the Roots and Tyler Gibson.
And if you're Gavin Glinton, you're okay with that foul from Tyler Gibson, doing a good job at just denying New Mexico to break through, stop the transitional moment at its origin. Good recognition from an experienced player.
Jalen Lindsay back and forth with Jabang. $8,757, the official tally here tonight at the Coliseum. And a lot to cheer about at halftime with the G-Eazy concert. Can the Roots give them something in the second half? Akale lays it off. Jabang. Good movement this from New Mexico. Quick, crisp passing. Now looking through for Jabang. Manakis wiggles his way out of it for a moment and drew the foul.
That's when New Mexico is at their best. When they play in between lines, they have a lot of options centrally, and they have a lot of movement. Love the relationship between Among and Zico Bailey that we've seen really complement off one another. Among's going to give you that directness. Zico Bailey's going to give you the pocket presence. Dennis Sanchez done a good job at forming relationships all over the field for his side.
Another one of those nights so far where if you're Gavin Glinton, there are aspects of this game that you're happy about, but the aspects that you're unhappy with severely cost you in the opening few minutes to the tune of 2 goals. It hasn't been all bad for Oakland tonight. You're seeing it here in this second half now for the Oakland Roots, where there's a lot of versatility within the group. They can move different players into different positions. They bring on Armanakis. They move Prentice out wide. They push Sinistera up top. We had to get on this conversation this week with Gavin Glinton, though, about how that could maybe be a double-edged sword, where, yes, it allows them to present different looks in these moments, but they don't have the cohesion, they don't have the consistency because they're not playing together in the same look with the same players in the same places all the time. But it can give them this different dynamic here when you need it in a moment like this, down 2 to push 1 button, and really you're pushing 3 because of the way everybody else falls in line.
I found that very interesting when you ask Gavin Glinton, is he starting to understand which his
Sinistera, Jurgen Dahm. Overlap coming from Armanakis. Plays this one normally. Floats it toward Wilson. Punched by Tambakis. Prentice floating it back post. Hits the crossbar. Falls in play. Clipped in again toward Wilson. Flicked away by Maples. Akale pressured. Out for a goal kick.
Nervy moments in the back for New Mexico. If you're Gavin Glinton, you need to be pleased with just the numbers you're getting into the attacking box here. Wolfgang Prentice just tries to lift it to the back post, but as the ball comes back to Panos Armanakis, you need more mobility. Sinistera needs to come alive. Prentice needs to crash that far post, and Peter Woolston needs to peel off of his individual marker. That last sentence just too pedestrian-like for the Oakland Roots.
You were starting a moment ago about the ideal 11 for the Roots before that attack.
Started to really understand what's his best formation and best lineup, and I found that very telling, because at a certain point this Oakland Roots side needs to have the ability to pick their own team, right? The players need to have the responsibility to the production, the goals, the assists, where they're getting a clean sheet and saying there's no way that you leave me off of the starting 11. And that's the point that I do think Gavin Glinton is starting to trend towards, because when you do that, now you find consistency not only in your results, but also your performances.
It's interesting. There's two sides to that coin as we talk to different managers over the course of the year. On the one hand, managers are always looking for a situation where they have to make tough lineup decisions because it means the team is deep and it means they're in a good way. On the other side, to your point, they're also looking for the lineup to be made easy because of the performance. You don't want the lineup made easy because there's injuries and you only have so many options. But if it's easy because the players are dictating it, that's a dream. So on the one side, you want tough decisions. On the other side, you don't want to have to make tough decisions. It just depends on the why. And right now, Gavin Glinton still in that position where maybe isn't the clearest yet, but he's getting there. Bruce getting ready to check in, as is Marlon Vargas on the New Mexico side. Wilson is streaking down the middle, waiting for the ball from Dom, but Tambakis had it.
It's a good idea here from Jurgen Dom. This ball needs to be pulled back on top of that 6-yard box to allow Peter Wilson just to evade Helen Maples.
Back to Spiegel. Oakland Roots return on Saturday, June 7th at 10 p.m. at the Oakland Coliseum against El Paso Locomotive. Individual tickets still available, so get them before they sell out. To secure your tickets, visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets or call 510-488-1144. A couple of changes here on the New Mexico side. Marlon Vargas in for Gideon Zalalem and Daniel Bruce for Tomas Amang.
Marlon Vargas is going to slot right next to Shibang in that central location. So now you have two double pivots that can have that fluidity between Zico Bailey as well. That rotation centrally for Dennis Sanchez, just so difficult to mark within their rotation. And then you have Daniel Bruce, who will spearhead the attack with his mobility and work rate to really put pressure on the Oakland Roots.
Yet to get on the score sheet this year, Daniel Bruce, 5 goals, 3 assists last year. 8 starts, 2 assists for Marlon Vargas coming into the midfield. Hackshaw chasing. Vargas gets there. Did he play it off of Hackshaw? He did. Corner.
Good work from Marlon Vargas to hunt down this second ball, win a dangerous set piece for his side. Notice right side of your screen exactly where Daniel Bruce is going to go. He's going to stand right in front for Spiegel just to cause some chaos and just screen the goalkeeper here.
Zico Bailey scored the second goal of the night. Came 6 minutes in. Now serving from the corner, the header. No trouble for Spiegel. Wants to go quickly. Green. Up back and through. Not something we've seen a lot from Oakland. So to stare up, won't get there. But just a different initiative now for Oakland. Down 2 goals. Time starting to slip through the hourglass as we tick toward the hour mark.
Just need more out of Sinisterra for the Oakland Roots. I haven't seen that same type of mobility, the want to get on the ball. Doing a lot of standing around on that top line. If you are Peter Wilson and Sinisterra, one needs to come to feet, one needs to really run in behind, because we've seen how big of a threat he can be when he is on.
I think the big question right now for Oakland is, at what point do you need to put extra numbers forward here? They've continued to stick with the formula for the most part. Again, I asked you this question early on. Down 2 early, how different is it than being down 1 early? And they've really stayed the course, but now toward the hour mark, down 2, at some point, you have to go for it.
If you're Gavin Glinton, you're telling your side to be a little bit more direct.
And now through Sinisterra, trying to win that foot race, but loses it to Kalen Ryden.
A little bit more direct and really test the shape of the two center backs. Kalen Ryland and Talon Maples been very comfortable through 59 minutes of this match because everything has been in front of the New Mexico back line.
Prentice slow to get up. Armanakis. Jürgen Dahm. Overlap from Armanakis. Peter Wilson just hanging around the penalty spot, waiting for the service. Birohanga. Armanakis.
Good
Back
run.
through for Birohanga. Just ran out of room. Good find, good run.
One of the hardest runs to track if you are a defensive unit. When a deep lying midfielder breaks the line. I haven't seen enough of that for Gavin Glinton because as Talon Maples will be required to shift over for Birohanga. That'll allow Peter Wilson a lot of space centrally.
Hour gone, half hour remains here in Oakland. First place, New Mexico United up 2-0 on the Roots. Both goals coming in the first 6 minutes of this one. 3 minutes in, Gloucester. 6 minutes in, Bailey. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN Plus. Alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Busy day in the USL Championship. 8 matches in all, 3 ongoing right now. Louisville up 2-0 on the road against Monterey Bay. It's good news for both of these teams. 3 points that head east instead of staying in the west, should that result hold. And then elsewhere in the west, 1-1 at halftime. Las Vegas and El Paso in Vegas. Johnny Rodriguez in the 7th minute for Vegas. And then Andy Cabrera in the 37th for El Paso. Sinisterra.
Andy Cabrera's had himself a season scoring goals.
Been outstanding
at the moment. Son of Wilmer Cabrera.
Sneaky, under the radar MVP, dark horse. I think there's a clear favorite right now, to be clear, but it's a long season and you never know what could happen. And just so we're clear, that clear favorite is Cal Jennings.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page there.
Scored a brace today at Detroit. 6 minute, 45th minute. On David Torres as well.
Remember when people were asking how Charleston would replace Mark Kanek? Feels like a long time ago that question was being asked.
Very long. Did a really good job at answering that question.
with two guys.
With two guys, yeah.
Anthony Myers as well. Lost the shoe. Alan Vargas. Do you think Charleston's the clear-cut top team in the league right now? I asked that while we're sitting here watching another first-place team having a strong showing, but both first-place teams have decent leads atop their respective conferences right now. Would you say it's those two teams, Charleston and New Mexico, or is there another team for you that is in the conversation as well?
I think it's Charleston. I think what Ben Pierman's been able to do with his side and just get the best out of every single play. And they just have so many weapons. They can hurt you in so many different ways. Jennings with 11 goals, MD Myers with 5, Juan David Torres with 4. Arturo Rodriguez get into that mix as well. Just their style of play and the amount of weapons that they've had, I think it's hard to bet against them.
Here's Prentice trying to get that first goal back and start this road for the Roots. Dom looking for Sinisterra, falls for Wilson. Kept in by Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice. And it's cleared away by Maples. Not far enough.
As that ball drops in, Sinisterra needs to call off Kai Green. It's on your preferred right foot, and watch out here. Transitional moment going back the other way.
Good defending, though, from Gibson to cut it off. Get in the way of Bruce.
It's one of the hardest things to do as a center midfielder because there's just so much green grass that the attacker can run into. So you have to stay like for like with the ball, not leave your feet. And when you do make a play on it, you need to win it.
Wilson chasing. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest. Kale offside as he's chasing that Select ball. And that's us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. And that'll be all for Jose Sinisterra. And another solid shift tonight. E.J. Johnson replacing.
The effort was there from Sinisterra. Just see the disappointment, how he walks off of the field. Never really found the game in terms of his rhythm, getting on the ball, creating havoc. E.J. Johnson's going to give you vertical movement as well. So expect him to run the channels and pull out one of the two center backs, which in theory will allow Peter Wilson some time.
So far, we've seen tonight from this New Mexico side, who again could be on the brink of being 7-3 and 5 points clear atop the West. At every level of the field, they are a pretty complete team. They've been good defensively. We talked a lot in the early going about that midfield trio, Jabang, Bailey, and Zalalem. On a night like tonight, it's those three, but Marlon Vargas has also started 8 times and also slots right into that midfield. Up top, there's a lot of dynamism with the likes of Akale and Amang and Fernando and the success they've had in this league. There really isn't a weakness on this team. Looking for more here. Too much on it for Fernando. And then you mix all of that together for, again, the man you think is the top coach in all of USL Championship, and Dennis Sanchez. Maybe depth is a weakness. If you look at this team, if they have an injury here or there in the wrong place, it could start to look bad quickly, perhaps, but there's a chance now for Johnson coming through with speed. Kalen Ryden timed it to perfection, had to.
A little bit of a glimpse of how explosive E.J. Johnson can be at playing off of Peter Wilson. That's going to be something positive that you can take if you are Gavin Glinson. You talk about the recovery run, the timing of the challenge from Kalen Ryden. Picture perfect. Just going back to the point you talked about Dennis Sanchez and this New Mexico side, they're doing all this without Greg Hurst at the moment as well. a true out-and-out number 9 who has shown that he fits perfectly into this system.
The yellow shown to Zico Bailey. Played it quickly from the free kick, and Oakland trying to catch New Mexico off guard, out for a goal kick. Akale. He goes down. I don't know that he was tripped. Play the other way here. Armanakis goes for a goal. Big save by Tambakis. Concerns Akale. Looked like he just stumbled on a divot and he grabbed down at that ankle. Good on Oakland for turning it quickly the other way. And Tambakis for keeping it out. Could have been a disastrous moment there for New Mexico, as they've been really coasting here in this second half. Well, good to see Akale right back up into the play. You fear the worst when you see what looked to be a non-contact there. Dangerous ball across. Won by Dom. I only have one question in that instance. Do you know what he was thinking?
I know what he was thinking. Boy, the execution was certainly lacking.
Spiegel looking long. Just been moments like that tonight for the Roots where even the littlest of things, it feels like they switch off. It should have been a simple 4-yard pass to the man next to him. Went for a back heel that goes out to the advertising board from a player that you don't expect it from. He's been best 11 in Liga MX and Jürgen Damm, and one of the focal points of your team that you brought in the offseason.
Just no real intensity right now for the Oakland Roots. Too many players walking, jogging to try to close down space. And this New Mexico side has shown if you do afford them the ability to pick up their head, they can find passes and they can pick you apart.
Lindsay, early ball in, cleared only as far as Jabang. Usman Jabang threads it through. Fernando sliding down. I don't know if he went to ground intentionally thinking he wouldn't get there or he slipped. Either way, Roots catch a break.
Point exactly made. Javain picks up this ball, a second ball with no Oakland Root pressure whatsoever. Just mishits his pass.
Curling going to head to Johnson. He commits the foul.
And Ryan has done a really good job in terms of his positioning, dealing with the pace of E.J. Johnson and Peter Wilson. The second time now that he's been able to just hunt down a ball that's played in behind him. I think he's one of the most underrated center backs in all of the USL Championship.
.34-year-old Kalen Ryden. He's been playing professionally now for a decade, starting with the Columbus Crew a decade ago. Johnson, nice touch to Armanakis. Options for Panos. Armanakis for Dom. Couldn't run it down. And a yellow shown. That one goes to Kalen Ryden for a foul in the build-up. Referee played advantage. Roots could not make the most, though, of that advantage. Nice slip ball through. Wilson. Johnson calling for it. Wilson continues his run, goes down a bit too easily for the referee. Trevor Wiseman was right on top of it. Luis Fernando realized he was off and just left it. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. The second half has only seen one shot for New Mexico. It's more defensive mode, and they've kept the clean sheet still. And that's a deep drive to center field from Armanakis. Rather, Gibson, pardon me.
Just hasn't been clean enough for the Oakland Roots, especially in this second half. Had some really good opportunities since coming out of the break, but unable to really put pressure on Tambakis. Good ball from Bruce.
Fernando kept on. He's kept on this near side. Now it's a chance for Shabang. A late tackle put in by Bravo, who kept the whole play alive initially by not stepping up.
But again, it's a perfect example of the extra effort put forth by New Mexico. Jabang from about 20 yards beats Bravo to the initial ball, and the center back does a good job at just his recovery run. But Jabang has been all over this field for New Mexico.
Five shots, one on target for Oakland in the second half. One shot for New Mexico. Oakland has taken a big leap in the possession, nearly 60-40 in their favor in this second half. It was 65-35 the other way in the first half, but I think, Ricky, you could just chalk that up to this New Mexico side adjusting at halftime, being more defensive, nursing this 2-goal lead, and just being more pragmatic for Dennis Sanchez's group.
Not as aggressive. Nice little ball here.
Akale.
Not as aggressive in their approach for Dennis Sanchez, and that's the luxury that the 2-0 lead gives you, especially away from home. You do not need to go and search the game. Just get on the ball, have the ball circulate, and draw out the Oakland Roots. And when they step out of their shell, that's when you can penetrate in between lines. Right side of your screen, Marlon Vargas, Daniel Bruce, and Luis Fernando in acres of space.
Right in. Fernando. Good step. Garohanga's been a bright spot emerging in the midfield for Oakland. Space for Dom. Johnson already calling for it with the left hand up. Still wants it, screaming for it from Jurgen Dom. It's back instead for Armanakis.
But those are the little instances, if you are Jurgen Dom, much like we saw Endra in the first half, first touch out of your body, and just try to bend it around the back line of New Mexico to give your side a chance.
Fernando. It's a 4-on-4 right now. You like this picture if you're New Mexico. Fernando cuts inside, goes back outside on Green. Touched it too far away. Oakland starting to push it more now. And with this game being stretched, chance perhaps for New Mexico to put that third one in as well. Starting to see them coming to life again in the attacking half. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights, plus live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Yellow shown to Kai Green late in that challenge. Came in clumsily, and Luis Fernando bore the worst of it. Kale. Back heel along for Jalen Lindsay. Just 12 more minutes to navigate for New Mexico's side. It really hasn't felt pushed for much of this one.
Oh, it's been a very comfortable 80 minutes here for New Mexico.
What a move this from Bruce. Fed in front. Fernando couldn't get it goalward. And there's Exhibit J.
What do you mean, G? G easy?
I like that.
There you go.
I like that. New Mexico preparing a couple of changes. These teams will get a breather from the regular season. We showed you those schedules coming up for both these teams in the regular season back during halftime. But for both these sides, it's focused on the Jägermeister Cup a week from now. Oakland will go on the road against USL League One side AV Alta in the next round. They had a trip against the League One team last fixture in Jägermeister Cup. Went on the road and lost against Spokane Velocity. And for New Mexico, they will be on the road against Phoenix Rising, their rival, in Jägermeister Cup a week from today.
Just look at the space in between lines right now for the Oakland Roots. That's a good 20 yards between Tyler Gibson and Hackshaw. If you are going to go and try to search and claw yourself back into this game, you have to do it in unison. And that's been a big identity problem for the Oakland Roots as they shift into this 5-back system. You just leave Gibson and Biarahonga just so much real estate to operate, to cover. Teams are finding success that if we play centrally, now we can create a numerical overload, and that's when we can find some success. And Gavin Glinton was quick to point out that exact situation on our phone call, saying that if we do go, we want our center backs to stay like for like with our center midfielders and just be a bit tighter in our structure.
That's what it is in theory and in principle, but it doesn't always come off that way in terms of the execution for this Root side. And when it doesn't, that's when they get themselves into trouble. Tomas Pondeca, as well as Will Seymour into the match for New Mexico.
Good opportunity here for the Roots. As Armanakis is standing over it, you need this ball to be placed right on top of that 6-yard box to try to catch out Tambakis off of his line.
Down 2, still alive if you pick one up at this juncture. Loose in front, Kai Green went for the bike. Still loose for Johnson. And the high boot was called against Kai Green. The risk you run if you don't execute the bicycle kick, you're probably getting called for a foul.
You love the intent and the audaciousness here from Kai Green. It sets up quite nicely for him. Try to go over his left shoulder. Jabang doing a good job, and Kalen Ryland at the last second just sticking their head into it. It is a dangerous play from the center back of the Roots.
See, in beach soccer, that's a foul on defender. We are on grass, however.
We're not playing beach.
No, we're on the grass.
How is that a foul on the defender?
In beach soccer, bicycle kicks are a lot more routine and commonplace, and if you see a guy starting to go for it, you can't contact him because it's very dangerous that he could fall on his neck or something. So yeah, it's different.
Play a lot of beach soccer?
I've watched some. It's fun. World Cup just happened.
You call beach soccer?
I did. I got some CONCACAF beach soccer recently. They just had the World Cup in the Seychelles. I don't actually know who won. I never followed up, but beach soccer's a fun sport.
You've tried it?
Oh no, goodness. I don't have the calves for that. think the biggest compliment that you can pay to New Mexico at this point of the season, well, the drum still beats and the voices still sing out for the Roots, hopeful of a comeback late on. But for New Mexico, I think, Ricky, it's just their comfort in some of these performances. They had that stretch with the 4 straight 1-0 victories, and not against easy opponents, mind you, especially in retrospect. Game against El Paso, a Miami team that's in a good spot in the Eastern Conference this year as compared to last year. North Carolina, a solid team in the East. Monterey Bay's been near the top of the West. So they just beat Orange County 3-0. All those matches clean sheets. This one potentially on the way to a clean sheet. They're just so tight defensively as the offside flag comes up here on Peter Wilson. And year over year, it was Colorado Springs last year. It was Dennis Sanchez's Vegas team last year. The teams that could keep the clean sheets, that are buttoned up defensively, the old cliche, defense wins championships, it rings true in this league every single year. You go back a couple of years, Phoenix, when they found the most of their success, same thing. Go back a year before that when Orange County went on the run, or 2 years prior to that, rather, and went on their run. Pretty much clean sheet after clean sheet. New Mexico has that down pat. When they need to defend, they're able to defend, as Maples picks up a yellow card here. But the mark of a good team, it's comfort in your wins. Are you really having to expend a lot, or are you comfortable? And the clean sheets. And New Mexico is exhibiting all those signs right now.
Well, if you can get a clean sheet, it guarantees you 1 point in every single match that you play. And then it comes down, or instills the confidence for those players higher up the field to express themselves and take those chances to turn that 1 point into 3 points. And that is the foundation that Dennis Sanchez continues to message to us, saying in a leagues around the world, especially USL Championship, you need to be good defensively. You need to have the ability to get clean sheets home and away. And then also, out there, have the true identity that you want to go out and you want to approach every single game the way you and I had the ability to speak with him, and we said, how do you approach this game against an Oakland Roots side that has shown that they can change in and out of different formations? He said the emphasis on us.
Akale going for a goal would have been spectacular. And the next evolution for Dennis Sanchez that he wants from the group, though, is a little bit more in the attacking end. You alluded to it earlier, Greg Hurst out right now. Getting him back will be a big boost to their attack. But you lay the foundation, you implement the defensive style. Look out here, Spiegel, a heavy touch, just gets it away. But it seems like they could check off that box now. They're consistent enough in the defensive end. So in the next evolution, can you start creating more chances, more goals, while maintaining your defensive prowess? We see it all the time, Ricky, where a team talks about that being the next evolution, and maybe they'll start scoring 3 a game, but they'll start giving up 1 or 2 a game, and then it just becomes a matter of marrying the two together. That's the next thing to look out for New Mexico. Can they start scoring more while still keeping the clean sheet? I guess if you're looking at these 2 games as examples, they put in 3 against Orange County last game, clean sheet. Put in 2 this game, could have been more. So far, clean sheet.
5 goals, scored 0 against in 2 road games in this Western Conference at 2 very difficult places to play. It's been a good run of form for Dennis Sanchez in back-to-back weeks. Nice pocket of space here from Marinakis.
He provided a spark over the first 10 to 12 minutes of the second half after subbing on at the break, but it's gone quieter since then. Some space again, and options. Cuts it back for Johnson.
That is fantastic recognition here from Lindsay. Reads this thing the whole way. Peter Wilson goes to that far post. He pulls out Maples. So the responsibility for the right back is just stay like for like with your individual marker. Great job from the right back.
eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball, free to play. Download now. Bodie Ford coming on here for New Mexico, replacing Usman Jabang, who put in another great shift in the heart of the midfield.
Just covers so much ground on both sides of the ball. Jabang, player that Dennis Sanchez brought with him from Las Vegas, can create for himself, and also combination mainstay in the central location for New Mexico.
Bacchus clearing. Foul called against TJ Johnson for being a bit overzealous in his pursuit. How do you pick up the pieces if you're Oakland and move on to the next one? What is the positive that you're hanging your hat on coming out of this game?
The positive is that you created some real good opportunities in that first half, and the response was there. Wolfgang Prentice's chance comes to mind, Peter Wilson's chance as well. If you can have the clinical ability to find the back of the net, you make this a game.
Akale to put this one away fully. He does. Through the legs of Spiegel. Makwele Akale, a third for New Mexico that will equal 3 points tonight.
If you give the ball over cheaply, now your side is out of position, and that's been the story for the Oakaroos. Notice where this ball is picked up centrally from Daniel Bruce as he picks up his head. Just acres of space to his right-hand side for Akale. Bottom of side of your screen, Wolfgang Prentice in a more aggressive position. And this is cool as you would like from Makwele Akale. First touch out of his body. Simply just puts the ball right through the legs of Spiegel. Great goal for New Mexico, great goal for Akale. 3-0 here on the road.
I think he wanted to break out those moves for the G-Eazy concert at halftime. Must have been listening from the locker room. There'll be 5 minutes added on here. Only question now is what the final score will be. We know what the result is. Into KTVU plus stoppage time. If there's another encouraging sign, as if you needed more for New Mexico, who will end the night 5 points clear in first place. Your 3 goal scorers on the evening all found their first goal of the year. A different cast of characters getting it done tonight. Akale has his first goal to go with 2 assists. Zico Bailey has his first goal since the 2023 season in his time with San Antonio. He didn't score last year either, Zico Bailey. And then Chris Gloster gets his first. He didn't score last year either. So it's unlikely sources for your 3 goals. All with their first of the year, some with their first in 2 years.
Gonna do a world of good for the confidence for every single player for New Mexico here. You can get not one true goal scorer, but a complementary of about 3 or 4. Now you have some real weapons and can make some noise in USL Championship.
As it stands, it's El Paso 4 points behind New Mexico. In second place, New Mexico does have a game in hand on El Paso. Tulsa's lurking in third. They're 5 points back of New Mexico with a game in hand on New Mexico. Still a long way to go, but as you look around the left column of the table, everybody just about now is, or at the end of this weekend at least, will have a double-digit number in the matches played in a season with 30 games this year, as opposed to 34 because of the 4 games that got allocated toward Jägermeister Cup. In a 30-game season, that means we're at or beyond the 1/3 of the way mark for some of these teams, so it's an important moment to take stock. Last weekend of the regular season in the month of May. This next week again is Jägermeister Cup, and the regular season returns in the first week of June. So at this 1/3 of the way-ish mark, it's about 4 points clear for New Mexico, depending on how the El Paso game shakes out. They're currently playing 1-1 on the road against Vegas. And in the East, it's a 2-point lead for the Charleston Battery. As dominant as they've been, and we talked about them earlier at 8-2, they are only 2 points ahead of a still unbeaten Louisville City side with 6 wins and 4 draws.
Louisville City up 2-0 on the road at Monterey Bay. John Tosh, Manny Perez, the goal scorers there.
A.J. Johnson turning the corner, commits the foul. When do you think Louisville's first loss comes? They really have proven to be a difficult side to beat, even if you catch them on one of their worst days and one of your best. That so far is just equated to a draw for the teams like Pittsburgh and for Hartford.
Just looking at this Lou City schedule, go to Loudoun in the Jägermeister Cup, then they're 3 straight at home, welcoming Tampa Bay Rowdies, Rhode Island, who's always been their bogey team. What a win that could be for Connell Smith to really kickstart things.
How it went last year.
Birmingham, then you go to North Carolina. I mean, this Lou City side has a lot of home games coming up.
They've done a lot of what they've done so far on the road. Tampa Bay in last place, probably not a loss there. Rhode Island, I think Louisville maybe finally gets their revenge. Birmingham's an interesting one with Mark Briggs there at the helm now. They got a win tonight to get on track, Birmingham. I don't know, it's a good question. Could Louisville get through June still unblemished? They're going to get through May unblemished. Flag stayed down here. 3 yellow jerseys there, and now finally comes up. I think the assistant referee was trying to parse through who exactly was where, and it was Bruce who came away with that ball.
Just far too easily to break through the 2 center backs. Kai Green, Bravo, and Hackshaw having a very difficult time providing coverage off one another, but also their rotation just hasn't been there. As one center back steps up, the other 2 need to provide coverage underneath.
5 minutes just about come and gone. New Mexico tacked on the third a few moments ago. This game has really felt in hand since about the 65-minute mark. Oakland had a good burst to begin the second half and then quickly waned thereafter. Just waiting for the whistle now to make things official. And there is the final whistle. New Mexico come on the road and take all 3 points from the Oakland Roots. Now a third of the way through their season, 10 games in, 7-3, and a nice cushion atop the Western Conference.
Deserving for Dennis Sanchez and this New Mexico side on and off the ball. On the ball, they're very good at creating opportunities, playing in between lines, and off the ball, just so compact. That's back-to-back road games that they've gotten a clean sheet, and they scored 3. This New Mexico side is trending in the right direction.
Another difficult one for the Roots. Fighter of the match is Peter Wilson, presented by Modelo. A reward for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. There were a couple of moments in this match where it seemed like he was going to break through, but some great saves by Tambaka stopping him.
His verticality was causing some issues for New Mexico. This is his best opportunity. Makes a good run off the shoulder of Colin Mapples and Colin Wright, and good save for Tambakis in the end. Peter Wilson, good job.
So there it is. Celebrations on the field for New Mexico. They take this one 3-0. We're back in a moment to wrap things up from Oakland.
Eating a balanced diet and being physically active are 2 of the most important things you can do to be healthy at any age. Fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins can help control your weight and prevent heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Regular exercise can help boost your mood, digestion, and sleep. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots encourage you to eat right and get active. For additional healthy tips, come visit us at oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. You might not be related, but you're still family. You don't just give an extra hand. You give your whole heart and a whole lot of muscle. Because it feels good to raise up the community that raised you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
A dazzling goal to witness a jubilation.
O city by the bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O city by the bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
Full-time score brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. New Mexico takes it 3-0 over the Oakland Roots on a night where G-Eazy performed at halftime in the Oakland Zoo at these terrific giraffe installments with the mosaics. There wasn't a lot else to cheer about for the Oakland Roots. First place side coming in and making easy work of the home side. And it started really early, Ricky, here for New Mexico. 3 minutes in, finding that opening goal.
And it's just so simple for this New Mexico side, especially on the road. Set piece is always an important part. You put the ball to the back post, and it needs to be better for the Oakland Roots. Just too many numbers in a yellow jersey unmarked. You put the ball in a dangerous area, you get rewarded. In the end, this goal is awarded to Chris Gloucester. Good goal, and setting the tone for New Mexico. Not even 5 minutes after, in minute 6, Zico Bailey does a really good job at getting himself in a dangerous area, but it starts with Akale. Just a swim move here, Njai, and now he comes centrally, and it's just a mishap defensively. Not once from Biarhanga, then Hackshaw, but good finish in the end. 2-0 early for New Mexico.
Yeah, stunning this Oakland side. Seemed like Oakland might have wanted a foul there, but it seemed clean all the way around from Akale. Clean, anything but that on the Oakland side, especially defensively in that first half. They could have got back in this game, though, right away with some chances in the first half.
How good of a ball is this from Hackshaw just to take out the whole back line? Wolfgang Prentice needs to take his first touch out of his body and just pick out a corner. Golden opportunity, a player with 4 goals on the season. You expect him to find that back post. And just notice how high Wolfgang Prentice is. Sloppy touch from Tyler Gibson, which allows the Akale that acres of space. And this is just cone stole killer from Macaulay Akale. First touch out of his body, wrong foot. Spiegel, 3 goals for New Mexico, 3 points. They steal from the Coliseum.
And all 3 goals by players getting their first goal of the season. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. Oakland Roots and Bart want to make sure you get home. Visit bart.gov/planner to plan your trip. That'll do it for us this evening from the Coliseum, where New Mexico takes all 3 points on 3 goals from the Oakland Roots. It's back to Jägermeister Cup for both these teams next week, and we return with regular season action in early June. The crew that makes this possible, broadcast partner Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. A big win for first place, New Mexico. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.